Let's do this. Cult of Hockey podcast by the faithful and for the faithful. I'm David Staples of the Edmonton Journal, and I'm here tonight with Kurt Leavins. Hey, Kurt.
Hey, David, how are you tonight?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Well, it would have been better with a win. A lot of extenuating circumstances and a lot of action. Your shorthand hands fingers must be tired after all that writing tonight.
It was just endless grade A shots in this game, and as the third period went along. In total, Kurt, the grade A shots were 21-10 for the Oilers over the Ducks, with the subset of 5 alarm shots 10-5 for the Oilers. So the Oilers had as many 5 alarm shots, which are the 33 percenters, as the Ducks had grade A shots, which are the 20 percenters. So they got goalied.
I was just going to say tonight. Right? Yeah.
That guy, Lucas Dostal. How many times has he done this to the Oilers?
Sees the Edmonton Oilers coming, I'm telling you.
It's got to be 3, maybe 4 times, 3 times at least, that he's done this to the Oilers. Good for him. He looks like a good young goalie, man. He's super solid. Yeah. At least when we see him. What is his save? I'll just look it up right now anyway. Kurt, this is our 2 good things, 2 bad things, and 2 numbers podcast. As I look up Lucas Dostal's save percentage, what is your good thing?
My good thing is a guy that I called out after the last game, who is Adam Henrique. You might remember after the last game, I said, when you're missing McDavid and Draisaitl, the 2 guys who are filling in as your number 1 and number 2 centermen have to do something for you. And after that game, I was uncharacteristically tough, I think, on both Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Adam Henrique. Well, tonight, Henrique really stepped up, had a fine game, scored the first goal on a deflection through just a forest of legs and sticks in front, but was in the right place at the right time, and you get rewarded for that in this game. And so he did, and drew an assist on the Oilers' second goal with the net empty at the other end. He was +2 on the night. He had 3 shots on net, played 19 minutes, 35 seconds, which I think is a season high for Henrique. I was just in the process of going back in his game sheets for the year, but I think that's a high. And he was lights out in the face-off circle tonight, 76% on draws, including a big face-off win at the end of the game. So as relatively as invisible as I felt Adam Henrique was in the loss 2 nights ago, I thought he was among the Oilers' very best players tonight. And it shows in the box scores. It shows in the fancy stats. He wasn't on for a single high-danger scoring chance against 5-on-5 and was just a mercenary in the face-off circle. Good on him for stepping up. We're going to need to see more from Adam Henrique in the playoffs, and hopefully he's in the 3 or the 4 hole instead of the 1 or the 2 hole like he was tonight.
The story of Adam Henrique will be told in this year's playoffs, because a lot of people are mad about Ryan McLeod being traded away and Adam Henrique retained instead. And, you look at the stats this year, it hasn't worked out necessarily, but I will hold my powder, I'll keep my powder dry on this one until the playoffs. And same with Connor Brown, and same with Matthias Janmark, and on and on and on. Like, let's see how it goes in the playoffs, because that's the only that's the meaningful season for the Oilers. Kurt, I love the first goal. I really loved Wallman's shot. Mm-hmm. That low, hard shot. That's what the forwards want, because they can tip that. They can do something with that. Yeah. And they did something with that there. Henrique also made... I don't know how he was the last man back on a 2-on-1, Kurt. I didn't examine it closely because there was so much going on. I'm trying to keep up, but he was the last one on a 2-on, and he slides, and because he slid, the pass went. Ari didn't hit the Ducks guy's stick, so that was a very nice play by Adam Henrique, and he set up Connor Brown for a one-timer in the third period there. That was a really... Nuge popped the puck at the side of the net. It went to Henrique, who put it back to Brown. And that could have been a goal. That would have been nice. Connor Brown, he had 2 one-timers on one shift on the power play. Like, I don't think he's had 2 one-timers all year. But
And the one-timer was a really great shot and had a good chance at going in, but there was that sitter right in the slot that he missed. And when I showed it, both my cats jumped up and ran off the couch. It was like, how do you miss that?
So he has had all season long. So he had 2 one-timers on one shift. All season long for grade A shots, he has had 4 one-timers in the entire rest of the games. So, my good thing. There was a lot. I gave a plethora of 7s tonight to Oilers forwards because there was lots of good Oilers players tonight, but not many great. I didn't think there was one great performance among them, but
Yeah,
I thought there
fair.
was a ton of 7s. And so I had Nuge at a 7, Arvidsson at a 7, Henrique at a 7, Connor Brown 7, Jeff Skinner 7, Corey Perry 7. So that's a lot of 7s, but I'm going to single out Zach Hyman. And the reason I'm doing that is I was so relieved actually to see him play tonight. I thought he was moving like Zach Hyman moves. He has been fighting it this year. He's had injury. We know that he missed it. I think he missed 1 or 2 games with an injury, maybe more. He has been fighting it this year a little bit, and he hasn't been healthy, I don't think. And I've been worried. Is he going to be one of these guys? Like everyone's injured now. So I was worried he was going to be another one of these guys who's going to be a shadow of himself in the playoffs. But that game tonight really gave me hope. He was dangling with the puck. He looked good with the puck. He looked like the Zach Hyman of last year, who scored how many 54 goals? Was that what it was? Like he looked really good. He almost tied the game with under a minute left, jamming the puck on net. There was this great shift late in the second period that the Oilers, they got it out a few times. Anaheim did, but then the Oilers took it right back in, and it was like a minute and a half of pressure and a line change. And both Arvidsson and Kulak and Hyman all made really nice plays with the puck in that sequence. He was one of the players on Edmonton's second goal. He and Corey Perry did the old Detroit double screen. Which the Detroit Red Wings did in the Lidstrom era. They'd have Lidstrom shooting and 2 guys, Holmstrom and one other guy in the slot, and he and Corey Perry were there on Skinner's goal that was heavily screened, Bouchard's outside shot. So again, both impressed but mainly relieved. The Oilers need Zach Hyman to win the Stanley Cup. And great to see him show up in game 77.
Just listening to the names that you listed there, and I agree. I thought Hyman really played in straight lines and was heavy on the puck tonight. I agree. I thought both of those things were encouraging. One name I did hear you mention, Jeff Skinner. In terms of pure skill with the puck, Dave, he is a top 6 player on this team.
Oh yeah.
I know he's got warts elsewhere, but man, he has the ability to use those edges and square himself to the play and find space on the ice. It's uncanny. He's not the player he used to be, but he's still got some skill. And then the one forward you didn't mention, but I'm sure you were impressed with him tonight, as was I, was Vasily Podkolzin, who led the Oilers in 5-on-5 CF, by the way. Chances for against was 26-7, 5-on-5, 79% CF. Most notably, though, was the chunk taken out of him in front of the Anaheim net, and he had to be lifted up off the ice by a fellow player and a trainer and carried down the tunnel. And Jack Michaels and Louis DeBrusque and you and me, and I'm sure every other Oiler fan in Edmonton thought, oh, God, there's another guy gone. And he was for a while, but eventually did come back. And as you and I were saying before we started the podcast tonight, usually when you have to lift the guy off the ice and you can't put weight on it, he ain't coming back.
The only thing I was hoping for is he's built like a brick crap house. And I thought, okay, he's like Draisaitl. If anyone can take that kind of thing, Maybe it'll be Podkolzin who will survive that. I think you snuck in an extra good thing there, Kurt, though, on Podkolzin. I have to call you out on that.
Okay. Well,
I will say
you're a better referee than those two jerks that were refereeing the game tonight.
We'll get to that.
I'll take that call.
We'll get to that. I did grade Podkolzin down because on the first goal, when I went and reviewed it, I was thinking I had graded the first goal and I thought, did I miss something? Like after Bouchard turned over that puck and the goal and Rodrigue turned over the puck to a lesser extent, but Bouchard and Rodrigue, it went out to the point. And how did that then come quickly so back at the net? That was Podkolzin's man. Okay. He lost track of his check on that play, and that's as much as anything that caused the goal against, because that guy took the puck right into the slot area, created essentially a 3-on-2 all of a sudden. And Cutter Gauthier knows how to shoot against the Edmonton Oilers, evidently. I don't know how he is against the rest of the league, but let's see how Cutter Gauthier. Oh, and I'll give you Dostal's save percentage as well. Cutter Gauthier, 17 goals in 77 games. Not bad for a young player.
Yep.
Dostal's save percentage is .905, which is above the league average, which I think is around .901 or .902 this year. Yeah. So 22 wins, 28 losses, including overtime.
That's a bad defense in Anaheim.
It really is.
And it's bad mostly because there's 4 really young guys on that blue line.
It is bad though. It's like, what is going on? Kurt, what is your bad thing?
My bad thing, and I alluded to it, it's related to the officiating, but not necessarily the officiating itself. It is the hit that Corey Perry had to endure from Radko Gudas tonight. It was the play, and it was behind the Oilers' net. And I saw this in real time. I didn't need a replay. I saw someone online say, "Oh, no, nobody saw that." Are you kidding me? How could you miss it? And there was a number of things. One, Perry didn't see it coming. It was a blindside. 2, It was a clear chicken wing, like a high hit, up and out it came, and like Gudas's expression isn't gonna change because he does that every night to his mother, right? So. What else is new? As someone would say, I'd love to have him on my team. I'd love to have him on my team too, but he's not, so I can hate on him tonight. And so, you know what? Dirty play. Perry's hurt. He goes off, and I'm surprised the spotter didn't grab him and send him because
I thought so too.
His bell was rung, right? But how both referees and both linesmen missed it when, how many countless thousand others saw it without the assistance of a replay is beyond me. And I'm just waiting with bated breath for player safety to not do anything about it.
I think he'll get a fine. Right? I think he'll get 5,000.
And before I let you go, the thing that did make me laugh about that though is I thought, here it is. It is April 2025, and I'm angry that there wasn't a penalty called on a play against Corey Perry. How times have changed. We can cheer for Zach Cassian and Corey Perry. What else can we possibly cheer?
Yeah, I hope Perry is okay. That was a pretty that was brutal. Yeah. That's you know what? It's a headshot. It's a deliberate headshot. It should be a suspension. It should be deliberate headshot for a player with his head down. But did he even have the puck then? I don't think he had the puck. It's like it should be like 3 games. That would send a message to, like, I'm sure he's a repeat offender as well. So that would send a message to Gudas. You can golf early if you do dirty things in a hockey game. Right. Your season can end quickly. But it would cost him some money. It would cost him some money, and dirty, dangerous play of a fellow player. Like, don't do that.
Yeah. And the other thing that bugged me about it is shortly after that, Darnell Nurse grabs Gudis by the collar.
Yeah.
And the good old linesman, dum-de-dum-de-dum, walk in. No, we don't want any fighting. It's okay if you almost take the guy's head off behind the net, but don't fight. Like you cool down there, boys. The officiating was just god awful tonight. They lost control of that game early, and there were missed calls on both sides. It was just sloppy officiating by the two referees in particular. I think the linesmen were fine. But except for the two guys who dum. Now you too, it's such a ridiculous double standard in the NHL. And if you're not going to make those calls, the players are going to police it themselves. And then when you get in the way and don't let them do that, it just burns my wick, man.
I like that. Burns my wick. I don't know if I've heard that one. That's good. It's very, I can see the wick burning. Okay. My bad thing is Evan Bouchard. He had some really good moments in this game. He moved into the slot a couple times for dangerous shots. He got an outside shot on net for the tipped goal.
The spinner goal, yeah.
Yeah, but starts off in the first period, he's struggling with the puck on the power play, which will happen now and then to any player, especially someone who handles it as much as Bouchard. So I'm not as worked about that. But he did, after Olivier Rodriguez, we should mention this, his first game in the NHL. I thought he acquitted himself okay. He hung in there.
Yep.
He needed to kick that rebound to the corner, not right in front. So Bouchard does what a defenseman does in that moment. He swipes it away. So it's kind of it's on both of them, that turnover. Both could have done a little bit better. Probably in the end, Rodrigue. The goal. It's really up to the goalie on a fairly easy outside shot to put it into the corner, not kick it in front. And so anyway, that's his first mistake. But man, he kept getting beat to the outside. Like in Bouchard, when he's on his game, he does not get beat to the outside. He just was lacking some defensive intensity in this one. There's no other way to put it. And Cutter Gauthier's goal, Corey Perry shifted off there. He shouldn't have shifted off in that moment. And then Hyman shifted off. This opens up the ice for Cutter Gauthier, who's fast with the puck. And Kapanen then doesn't make the check either, Kasperi Kapanen, to slow him down. It's tough for defensemen when you have highly skilled forwards charging at you full speed in the NHL. Nonetheless, you're expected to make that play, to be able to back up and head him off, at least limit the damage on the shot. But he beat, as the late, great Darren Detition said, he beat Evan Bouchard like a rented mule, went right around him. And
like a turnstile at Walmart.
There you go. I think, yeah, I think he had a few of those for those ones. Yeah, turnstiled him, pyloned him, and scored a really nice goal, backhand goal. Very tough for the goalie on a backhand like that.
Agreed.
So, and then he got beat again, Bouchard, by Jason Terry on a rush again in the third period. So, 5 major mistakes on grade A shots against an even strength for Bouchard. That's, if a defenseman's doing his job, he'll average 1 a game.
Yeah.
You're just letting in 1 grade A shot a game in the NHL, making a mistake on one. You are a really good, actually defensive defenseman. It's the kind of play we saw from Adam Larson, Chris Russell in their prime. Yep. Bouchard's more like a 1.8 per game, which is really marginal defensively this year, and he's got to pick it up tonight. 5. That's a really bad game defensively that he made up for somewhat with some nice moments on the attack, but he's got to do better.
Yeah, on that first goal, I've been in that position where a goaltender boots out a rebound, and it's like, what do I do with this? It's like someone just threw a grenade into the foxhole. And so I feel for him, but you still have to make a better play than he did.
You do.
But like you, if I'm grading it, I'm grading Rodrigue with the primary mistake, and Bouchard with the secondary. And as you mentioned, I didn't pick up on it, but sharp-eyed you did the fact that Arvidsson didn't pick up his man on the
No,
play.
Podkolzin. Yeah.
Podkolzin, sorry, that's who I meant to say.
Yeah, and I missed
On
it the first time.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it, and I was thinking, what I was thinking, honestly, if Bruce was here, he like I'm grading all of these shots, like I'm the first person to grade them, and then Bruce goes over them, and he often backs it up a little further.
right.
And then I thought, okay, Bruce isn't here, as we all know, and I gotta just I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna back it up, and I went and looked at it again, and there it was, Vasily Podkolzin.
Good on you.
3-on-2.
On the second goal, Bouchard. First, it was a really bad read in the neutral zone. It was a 3-on-3. Like that was not a dangerous play as it was developing, but he really misjudged his speed in the neutral zone. Then his footwork as they crossed the blue line, his footwork was all wrong, and he almost turned the other way, Dave, and got twisted around. And by the time he got himself turned around again, the Ducks player was gone. Like it was over. Like it was just awful. And then you didn't mention it, but on the third goal, while certainly Kapanen was the guy who coughed the puck up, when you're Evan Bouchard in that situation, you got to shoulder check and see if someone's behind you. But Bouchard was the guy that pinched up the right-hand side on that play.
I know. And I didn't, you know what? That is a tough one, because they're only down by a goal, and there was about 14 minutes left when I'll get the number here. Where is it? They're only down by a goal, and there's let's say more than 10 minutes, because I know that for sure. So it's maybe not the time to be as aggressive as Bouchard was on the attack in that moment. That came 5.5 minutes into the third period. So there's still 14 minutes left. So I let him off the hook on that, because they're a goal down. They need to score. And it looked like Kapanen should make that pass.
Yeah.
Kapanen looked like he had, and it looked like he fumbled it, or he double clutched on it, and then he got checked. So I thought it was a fairly basic pass for Kapanen to make, and an open play. So I really thought, I was less inclined to blame Bouchard. I'm always accused by a certain somebody of being too easy on Bouchard, but I did think that play was there for Kapanen to make, and he needed to make it as an NHL player. The players in the NHL anticipate passes; they have to. And I just thought, I'm going to let him off there. But I say it's 50-50. Like, you could easily blame him, and I don't blame anyone for blaming him. I probably, in retrospect, he's to blame as well.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm going to mark him down. Yeah. I'll mark him down right now. You've convinced me.
I agree Kapanen is primarily to blame. But with that much time left in the game, you don't need to be cheating for offense at that point, because you've got 3/4 of the third period still to go.
Yeah.
And defensemen are taught in that situation to expect the forward to not get the job done. It's true. Yeah. They say expect the forward to screw up. They're not looking out for you. They're headed in the other direction. So that's when you're supposed to shoulder check and go, oh, there's nobody behind me. I better not pinch.
That's one of the Billy Moore's Claire Drake rules of hockey. Like, they had 8 rules. And one of them is, before you pinch as a defenseman or move in like that, you check to see if you're backed up by a forward. Yeah. And he did not do that.
Nope.
Now, hockey evolves, right? Hockey evolves, and sometimes they want that kind of motion. They want the defenseman to be involved in the motion attack, and they expect the forward to make a pass. And that's how I see the Oilers playing it now, which is another reason I was kind of inclined to let Bouchard off the hook. Kurt, what is your numero?
My numero is 56. Olivier Rodrigue became the 56th Edmonton Oilers goaltender to start a regular season game in franchise history. The 56th. Good for the young man. I didn't think he was great, but I didn't think he was bad. He's certainly not why they lost. Really, really happy to see the kid's family there. Like I think they had a whole section roped off. It was awesome. And I thought Bruce would be so pleased to see a rookie goaltender getting his first start, because as we all know, Bruce was an old goalie, as he used to very fondly call himself. So I thought, in our old friend's honor, I should pull out the Oilers history book. And so if Rodrigue was the 56th Oilers goaltender to start an NHL regular season game, who was the first to start an Oilers regular season game? I'll give you a hint. Yes, I was going to give you a hint that both he and his brother played in the NHL.
Oh, I got it.
You got it. It was Dave Dryden. He stopped 23 of 27 in that loss to Chicago on October the 10th, 1979. Kevin Lowe, who of course scored the first goal in franchise history, and Dave Hunter were the two goal scorers that night, the 4-2 loss. So it was Dave Dryden who played that first game. So here's the tough second half of the trivia question. Who was the first Oilers goaltender in Oilers history to play a professional regular season game? Obviously, it was the WHA.
Who were the goalies that first year?
I had this guy's hockey card.
Oh, I think I did too.
I'm
not going to get it. It's not going to be.
Oakland Golden Seals is the hockey card
Chris
that I
Worthy?
had. No.
Okay.
It was.
Oh, don't say.
Do 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 do.
I'm just putting pressure, unbearable pressure on.
That's why they play it in the TV show.
Playing my games with me, Kurt. I don't know who was it.
it was Jack Norris.
Jack Norris, that's it. He played for the LA Kings. Yeah, I have a hockey card with him. I have a Power Esso Power Player card.
Oh, I have a whole book of those Esso Power Player stickers.
They were the best.
They were. October the 11th, 1972, it was a 7-4 win over the...
Oh, I have no idea.
Ottawa Nationals.
Wow. Swoop Carlton.
Yeah. Jack Norris led the WHA in games played by a goaltender that year with 64.
Wow. Back in the day when they played all the games.
Yep. So for Olivier Rodrigue, you are now part of history along with Jack Norris and Dave Dryden.
I don't remember how many games were on TV back in that time. I started to go to the games with my father, like in the like 75, 76. We started to go a lot.
Right.
But we didn't go early on, and I can't remember. There wasn't even many games on TV back then. Like if you didn't go, you didn't see it. So I don't have a memory of Jack. I don't actually have a memory of Jack Norris in the net because I don't think I ever saw him play. I think in that year, 72, 73, I was 11. So, and how old were you, Kurt? You must have been like 1.
I was not 1, but I was younger than 11.
Okay.
And I was a fanatic of hockey cards, but where I lived, you couldn't buy WHA hockey cards.
So we could, yeah.
Yeah, but in Dinsmore, Saskatchewan, I guess the truck didn't come. So what I used to do was shredded wheat used to come with little pieces of cardboard that separated the biscuits.
Uh-huh.
So I would take the pieces of cardboard out and I'd clip players' pictures out of the hockey news and tape them onto the little pieces of cardboard and write their name and their number on the side. and I had a cardboard hockey card of both Dave Dryden and Jack Norris, among others.
I used to make my own hockey cards. I'd draw the pictures, and I have I had books full of the hockey, like books full of every NHL player. I would draw them and like make up statistics like I do now about their future performance.
That's so awesome.
One claim to fame here. When I was a kid, Dave Dryden visited our house.
No way.
He was part of some group of some kind of church group. And he came and visited our house, and everyone went cross country skiing. And I still have an image of him. My favorite player was Ken Dryden when I was a kid.
Yeah. Well, I've met Mr. Dryden on a number of occasions, and what a gentleman.
Too. He is. Yeah. He is. And his book, The Game, is the best hockey book.
Yeah.
Maybe,
if it isn't the
there's
best,
a couple others, but
it
may be the best.
It in the game. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. My number. I was going to research it, but then we got talking.
We got buried in goalie numbers.
It's just something about Zach Hyman, the difference between this year and last year. So I track these hard plays at the net, And they are the goalie screens, tips, jams, hard charges, battles won that result in grade A shots. And Hyman's actually rate of them is almost the same as last year. He's averaging per game. Last year it was 1.8. This year it's 1.7. So he's really close to that. But last year he had 62 jam grade A shots around the net, 60, almost one a game, where he's jamming at the net, or he gets the puck in tight and he jams it. This year, he's only had 27.
Wow.
And I think that, and I don't quite, where has he made up the difference? I'm not quite sure here where he's made up the difference. He's had a few more goalie screens this year, and a few more battles won this year. But the jam shots aren't there. Like it's about half the rate. So he's it's interesting. He's just around the net, and last year he scored so many goals where he would get the puck, just jam it in. Like I can see him doing it on the power play repeatedly. He hasn't had that this year, and I wonder. I don't know why. Maybe the other teams are defending it. Maybe they're looking for it, taking it away, or maybe injury has deprived him of a little bit of agility and strength around the net. And I'm guessing it's probably a bit of both.
Yeah, I've felt that he's played down half a court for much of the season. And I respect the fact that he's putting it out there game in and game out. He certainly got the requisite effort out of him, but like you, he hasn't looked like quite the same player this year physically.
Alrighty. So when's the next game? Do you know?
Wednesday night.
Yeah, okay. Wednesday. Do we know who it is? I can't remember.
I used to.
Winnipeg? No.
But then I got talking about
Don't worry about it. don't. Wednesday's good enough, Kurt.
It's St. Louis.
Ooh, Holloway's hurt, I guess. I wonder if he'll be back.
Well, apparently not. Apparently the quote I saw was what we heard back from the doctor isn't what we were hoping for.
Wonder if it's the old wrist injury that's plagued him. And I guess like when he couldn't turn his hand almost or something like that is what I heard.
I feel bad for the kid. As you'll remember last year, I was
you're a big
fan, but I was a big Dylan Holloway fan, and I'm still sorry he's not here. So,
me too. Kurt, let's leave it there. Thanks for talking tonight.
My pleasure.
And in the meantime, and in between time, and until we see him again, Bruce McCurdy in the halls of our fathers, having a cold one with the hockey gourds. This has been another edition of the Cult of Hockey podcast.